this is for you, Rachel, because I know you're probably the only one that goes back and looks at them. So hi, Rachel. Okay, so let's look at the last lesson for capítulo 4 en página 116. La voz pasiva con C. Okay, so en inglés, el pasivo, the passive voice is what? How do I express? So I take a sentence. Did everybody join me on the Google Doc? Let me put the link up. Oops. I included it.
Avery's here.
Avery's here. Yay. The party can start now. Everyone say hi.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the Google Doc link. It's a good thing we didn't say anything bad about you. Oh, Avery's here, but we lost. Oh, Avery was here. What happened, Avery? Or are you with Jared?
I'm on here with Jared.
Oh, perfect.
Because we only have one book, so we have to share it.
Oh, perfect. But you're welcome to be on your computer for the Google Doc. That way you can type separately or whatever. Doesn't matter. You can work together. So in English, the passive voice, so everybody join me on the Google Doc there. So in English, the passive voice is when we kind of remove, it's especially beneficial when we're trying to remove the blame from somebody or remove a person from a situation. So say someone dropped your mom's favorite vase, right? And it fell on the floor. And our nature as a sibling, you know, if Avery and Jared did it, you know, depending on, you know, what the relationship is at the time, she might rat him out. She said, oh, Mom, Jared did it. No, Jared did it. But if she's feeling nice and she's wanting to break it gently to her mom, she might say, well, Mom, your favorite vase got broken. Okay, so we've removed all blame and placed in all doubt, right? We don't know who did it. We just know it happened. Okay, so that's called the passive voice when you remove the subject. So you put the subject, the actual action of the verb in as the subject, right? The vase got broken, but did the vase do the breaking? No, the vase is passively kind of receiving, is passively the subject. So it's you're putting it in a passive tense. So if I say like, I don't know, it just happened, right? Or somehow the keys got lost. Yeah, how do keys get lost? They don't get up and walk away, right? So that's your passive voice when you're, like I said, it's especially beneficial when trying to remove someone, more specifically most of the time yourself, from the blame, right? I don't know, my grade just fell. I don't know how it happened, but somehow that grade just plummeted over the past 3 weeks, you know, instead of saying, yeah, I didn't do my homework and I didn't do so hot on the test and that kind of thing. You just kind of passively, it's kind of a way of softening the blow, right? So in Spanish, it's not exactly, there's a couple ways you can express the passive in Spanish. And how we use it in English is the least common way that it's used in Spanish. So they have what they call la voz pasiva con C. Okay, so you've seen it before. Se habla español aquí. Okay? So that doesn't say we speak Spanish or he speaks Spanish or she speaks Spanish. It actually says Spanish is spoken here. That's the passive voice. That's that say at the beginning of it. Okay, so Spanish is spoken here. So if I say French is spoken here, se habla francés aquí. Okay, so it's a passive voice. We're not saying who speaks Spanish. So if you walk into, you'll see this a lot on used car sales places in specific areas where you have a high Latino population. You'll see, se habla español. They won't even say aquí, right? Se habla español. It means Spanish is spoken. Okay. Or generically, in English, we have a tendency to use the we, right? When there's kind of a generic statement like that. Well, we speak Spanish. And if I were to put a sign up, in English, I could say, yeah, we speak Spanish on that same sign on the used car lot where they say Spanish is spoken here. Se habla español, like I said, we speak Spanish, right? It's just a generically thing. Someone in here speaks Spanish. Okay, so it's the passive voice. So when you talk about something being done without saying who does it, you use the passive voice in English. Fish is sold at the market. Coffee is sold at Starbucks. Everything is sold at Walmart. Okay, so in Spanish, the pronoun se is used to express this idea. Se vende pescado en la pescadería. Okay, so prior knowledge to this whole say thing, what might I have said? I might say, instead of saying se vende pescado en la pescadería, I might have said pescado está vendido en la pescadería, right? It kind of takes on that same context, right? Because I that's a transliteration, right? I've directly translated word for word, right? It's kind of verbatim. Fish, pescado, está, is, sold, vendido in the fish store or in the fish market en la pescadería. So that's a word for word translation. And it could work. It works. I mean, it's doable, but that's not preferable. It'd be like saying, I don't know. Let me not even give you a bad example. So it's just not the preferable way. I mean, it would be understood, and it can be used that way. But the way to truly express it the right way is to use the passive voice with se. Okay, which actually is really easier, right? You know the verb, you don't have to worry about the past participle there, right? Because you have the and we haven't even learned the past participle, so we're okay with that. But there is more than one way to say it. Just in English, I don't know. I think we just have the one passive voice. Okay, so but notice if it's one thing, the verb is in the usted a leer form. If more than one thing is being passivized, right? Like in the second sentence, se venden papas en la verdulería. Okay, so potatoes are sold in the vegetable store or vegetable stand or the vegetable market. Okay, I think it's all basically referring to these large open air fresh food markets, because in the United States we don't have per se, it'd be like those fruit stands where you go by and they'll sell, especially like in the area where they grow in the high agricultural areas, like in the Santa Cruz or I kind of think that area in there where they sell they grow asparagus and garlic and strawberries and a lot of the real big agricultural areas. And they have those stands where you can go buy all the fresh local fruits and vegetables, and they don't sell, dairy products, and they don't sell meat products. So that's the same kind of thing. Or like going out to Galt Market or Roseville auction, where you can buy they have all the different stands, the vendors selling all the different fresh fruits. You might find vegetables at another one, that kind of thing. So verdulería, so verduras, right? Greens or vegetables, verduras. So note that it's se venden papas, because more than one thing is sold. Papas is plural. Okay, so if I were to say they sell fish and vegetables or fish and potatoes at Walmart, how would I say that? Se venden papas y pescado. Right. Okay. Like I said earlier, se venden todas las cosas en Walmart, right? All things are sold in Walmart, just about. Okay, so notice that se venden. Why? Because more than one thing. The say doesn't change, but the verb does to match what is now our subject, right? Basically, it's a passive subject. Potatoes and fish are now our passive subject. But notice it's still, it's after the verb, okay? So your se kind of takes up the subject spot. Se venden, and then whatever is sold. So if I were a Spanish teacher and a French teacher and an Italian teacher, it'd be crazy. But, you know, I would say, or if I were to hang a sign on my door and I spoke all those languages, what would my sign say? Maybe I'm the used car salesman and I'm on the border of Canada and we have a high Latino population. So I'd say, hablan español, francés y inglés. Spanish, French, and English, and all three of those need accents. If someone, okay. Well, actually, español doesn't need an accent, it needs its ñ. Okay, so se hablan español, francés, y inglés. You know that there is someone who speaks either one or two or all three of those languages, right? So if I walk into the office and there's 10 people sitting in the office, it's not going to be that every one of them is speaking, every one of them speaks all three of those languages. It's going to be that in the mix somewhere, there's at least one person that speaks one of those languages, all three of those, okay? You will often see the se construction used to express ideas such as, just like we're talking about. They speak Spanish here, Spanish is spoken here, one speaks Spanish here. People speak Spanish here. Okay, so it takes on that one se construction of aquí se habla español, or se habla español aquí. You could put the aquí on either side. Takes on all four of those. I could translate it all four of those different ways into English. They speak Spanish. I remember I use the we, right? If I were the person working there. To me, I might say, yeah, the sign says we speak Spanish here. Looking at it as an outsider, I say, yeah, they speak Spanish there. Spanish is spoken here. One speaks Spanish here. And that's definitely another way to keep it passive, right? One speaks Spanish here. We don't know who that one person is. They're unidentified, but there is someone. And people speak Spanish here. That last one is probably kind of the least common or least favored translation there. Because people is just kind of, especially if it's a small operation, you walk in the office and there's 3 people. There may only be one person. Aquí se habla español. Spanish is spoken here. It may be one person out of 10. So the last people speak Spanish here is kind of your last resort. Okay. So let's look at la práctica. Okay. So everyone take a number and space in between. Let's look at number 1 together. Se vende pan en la panadería. Yeah, this is kind of this is kind of a silly exercise because it just has you So what's going to be the answer? What's the first question asked in exercise 12? ¿Se vende pan en la panadería? Okay. Do they sell bread in the bread store? Well, okay. So because it's all third person, we're not changing anything, right? Well, but the answer would be sí. Se vende pan en la panadería. So all you're going to do is say sí. And number 2, same thing. ¿Se venden suéteres en la tienda de ropa? Do they sell sweaters in the clothing store? Or are sweaters sold in the clothing store? Okay. So that one's kind of just this really oversimplified. So let's look at ejercicio 13. Ejercicio 13. En página 117. Okay. ¿Qué se habla y dónde? Sigue el modelo. Okay. Instructions say what is spoken and where. Follow the example or the model. ¿Qué lengua se habla en español? Se habla español en España. I said español, I'm sorry, I meant to say español. Se habla español en España. Okay, so Nehemiah, take 1. Vita, take número 2. Jared, take 3. Sydney, take 4. Y Addie, take 5. And if you're on your own, Avery, you can take 6. So Nima, on this first one, se vende. Look at my example here. There we go. So Nehemiah, do number 1 en ejercicio 13. You can just get rid of that one. Se vende. It's vende, not vende. Because pan is one thing. Bread is sold in. So that would be your answer. You'd say sí. Sí, se vende pan.
So it stays that way, right?
Yeah, the verb just stays because anytime you're talking about something third person or with the usted LA form, it stays that way. Like if I did John go to the store? Yes, John went to the store. Okay. When we're talking about someone else besides, ourselves, we're talking about a third person that's going to stay in this, the verb form's not going to change. We're on exercise 13. I switched. Exercise 13. Adi. So ask the question. So on exercise 13, we're following the example of the Nehemiah number 1. Nehemiah 1 or 2, Vita 3, Jared, Vita, Nehemiah number 1, Vita 2, Jared 3, Sydney 4, Addie 5. Muy bien. Okay, let me get the accents brought up here. your accents up there. And let me add the question mark. So, Vita, ¿cómo se dice Italian? Just add a little O on the end and take off the capital I. Italiano. So remember, Spanish is very minimalistic. The names of the countries, because they're proper names, are capitalized. But the names of the languages from those countries are not capitalized. Not special. Muy bien. Se habla irlandés. Perfecto. ¿Qué lengua se habla en Irlandia? Irlanda. Inglés necesita acento, Ari. Habla italiano. Okay, so your question, Nehemiah, should be, what language is spoken in France? Then your answer should be, so this is your answer, so this is not your question. This is your answer. Jared, are you unable to type? Oh, you're with us.
Our mom was making a lot of noise in the kitchen, so we have no clue where we are.
You're on page 117. Exercise.
Oh, yeah, we're way off. There we go.
Number 3.
Okay, we're there. What number do you want us to do?
Number 3. Número 3.
Got it.
Tell your mama to pipe it down.
She left. We're good now.
Okay. Let me know next time, okay? Just let me know. Hey, I don't know where we're at. I'm lost. So instead of blaming on your mom, you can just say, there was a lot of noise being made in the background, right? Make it passive. Don't throw your mama under the bus. But she was probably making a lot of noise fixing you something yummy to eat or something. Okay. So other than your punctuation and accents. So remember, anytime you use a question word like who, what, when, where, why, and how in Spanish, and you're using it as a question word at the beginning of a question, it's always going to have an accent. And the accent doesn't make it pronounce any differently. It just lets you to know it's being used as a question mark. Because like where can be used in a statement or in a question, like where is my doll? My dog. I know where my dog is. That is where I left it, you know? Or so it's not being used as a question word. I say that's where I left it, right? It's the statement. It's just the fact. So in Spanish, you would distinguish between that. ¿Dónde está mi perro? Donde would have an accent, but I'd say he's where I left him. Está donde lo dejó. He's where I left him. mean, hopefully you left them someplace nice and safe, but bad example probably. ¿Dónde está mi libro de español? Oh, está donde lo dejó. It's where I left it, right? So the donde and donde está would have an accent. The donde in my statement, it's where I left it, would not have an accent, right? Because it's not being used as a question word. So muy interesante. Okay, so you guys got it? ¿Qué lengua se habla en Alemania? No capital A there. ¿Qué lengua se habla en Francia? ¿Qué lengua se habla en Francia? There we go. ¿Qué lengua se habla en Francia? Se habla francés. Francés necesita acento. Sometimes Google's really good about putting the accent in for us. Sometimes it's not. So, francés, alemán, inglés, all those languages, portugués, all those languages ending in, pretty much all the languages ending in consonants have an accent because they, all the nationalities ending in N and S, right, have an accent on the final vowel. Alemán, francés, portugués, japonés. Ok, muy bien. Se habla alemán. Alemán, there we go. No capital A here. Alemán en Alemania. There you go. Se habla alemán en Alemania. Muy bien. Okay. And then number 5 would be what? ¿Qué lengua se habla en Arabia Saudí? Arabia Saudí. Y se habla. Yeah, how do I say? Arabic. Why am I drawing a blank right now? Arabo? Let me check it out. Árabe. That was off. Árabe. Se habla árabe. Okay. So that's something new, right? So, ¿qué lengua se habla en Arabia Saudí? Se habla árabe. I don't know why that slipped me for that brief moment. Árabe. Accent on the first A, right? Árabe. Okay, looking at the next exercises. It says answer, contesta. Se deja una propina en un restaurante cuando el servicio está incluido. So how would I answer that question? Se deja is a propane. Does one leave a tip when the service is included? Well, of course not, right? So my answer there would be, whoopsie, get on the right page there. So this is, let me just title this here. Okay, so page 17. Now let's skip down and go. Exercise. Okay. Number 1, my answer would be what? No se deja una propina. I can keep going. Let me finish it. No se deja una propina cuando el servicio está incluido. Okay. Google's not doing very well. Nope. Nehemiah, Francia, no acento. Francia no tiene acento. That's why it's giving you a spell check error. There you go. Okay, and incluido should have an accent there. So no se deja una propina cuando el servicio está incluido. Okay, so Nehemiah, take 2. Everyone just take and do the next number, 1 up from what you were doing last time. So Nehemiah 2, Vita 3, Jared 4, Sydney 5, Addie 6, and 7 for you, Avery. If you guys get through. Go ahead and do it where I have it labeled down here, Nehemiah. Oop. Okay, so Nehemiah, you're falling into the trick. You're falling into the trick. Follow the pattern of what the example is, right? So look at my answer compared to what my question was, okay? My question was, ¿se deja una propina? Is a tip left, or does one leave a tip when service is included? And look, where they're using the construction se. No se deja una propina. You have 2. Nehemiah. So does everybody understand? Okay.
Can you repeat that, please?
Huh?
I was asking if everybody understood what they're doing. So now I told you you're going to get a little bit of all the different subjects mixed in when you're learning a new language and a new culture. So Sydney, she's doing she's got etiquette going on here. The question is the knife placed at the right or the left of the plate? So now we have etiquette mixed in with history and geography, and so I told that to my Spanish 1 class the other day, and one of the kids pipes up and he said, "Is that philosophy?" I don't remember what I said. That was funny. Okay, so Nehemiah, let me help you out. So your question says, is a lot of meat served in an Argentinian restaurant, okay? So all you're gonna do is add a yes or no on the front of it. Again, this is like a 3rd person question. So you're not gonna change the verb in any way. You're just gonna either answer affirmatively or negatively, because this is a yes or no question. So how would I answer? Keep the same word order, because it's not like a traditional question. Traditional questions, we switch the subject and the verb. But with the passive voice, the se, it does, the word orders for questions and statements doesn't change.
To say that much meat is served there, right?
Uh-huh. So you just say yes and repeat exact order of what the question is right there. Normally we have to switch the subject and verb when we make a statement, but questions with the passive voice don't require that. So just like my example, what did I do for my answer? I just put no and made the verb negative. I didn't change it around in any way. I didn't change the question around in any way. All I did was add no and then the other no to make the verb negative. No, a tip is not left when the service is included. Ahorita no se usa mucho aceite en España. Sí, se usa mucha aceite de aceitunas. Se usa mucha aceite de aceitunas. Yeah, España is well known for its aceite de aceitunas, olive oil. They're big olive oil producers, and so they're known for using a lot of olive oil. But good guess. I mean, the whole purpose of the exercise anyways is for me to see that you know how to answer the question, so está bien. Se usa mucho aceite en España. And sí, verdad, Sydney, se pone el cuchillo a la derecha del plato. That's right, according to the picture in the book. And then, what was 5? Se pone la taza en un platillo. Okay, so what is it asking you? Do you put like the coffee cup on a saucer? I mean, you don't have to, but you can. So, depends what kind of restaurant you're at. So your answer is fine. And again, I'm more concerned with grammar than actually knowing etiquette. Okay, so 6, that is Adi. So you get the wrong verb. There we go. There you go. Perfecto. Okay. So notice your verb is in the plural form, right? So what was your question asking you? So is a lot of shellfish eaten in restaurants close to the coast, right? Yeah, of course. You're going to find, that's why San Francisco, what do you see? You see a lot of clam chowder. You go anywhere into a bay area or a big city or any city sitting on the water, you're going to have a lot of fresh fish restaurants. Okay? Even on the East Coast, on the Atlantic, you're going to have different kinds of fish. But yeah, anywhere. So sí, se comen muchos mariscos en los restaurantes cerca de la costa, the coast. Muy bien. Y Avery. Se dice menú de la misma manera en inglés y los tostones son populares en el Caribe. ¿Se sirven tostones con muchas comidas cubanas? Well, that's kind of a guess question, but yeah, cubanos, tostones are very popular throughout the Caribbean. Yeah, Caribbean, but also Nicaragua. I don't know that I would assume that you'd call that Caribbean. That's a good question. So Central America. I mean, is that considered the Caribbean? Because most of the countries, have a coast on the Caribbean, and a lot of them have a secondary coast on the Pacific as well. So, let me do something. So yeah, tostones. Remember what are tostones? Those are the fried plantains. Tostones. Okay. Muchas gracias. That kind of takes care of that. That's a real simple one, but it is. It's a whole lot easier than trying to translate it word for word. Remember, anytime you hear, they serve French fries here. Who's the they? Okay. Or they speak Italian in Costa Rica. I mean, I don't know. So anytime you have a they, but you don't know who the they is, use the passive voice. Or if you're writing a how-to, one needs to hit the print button before the printer will actually begin to print, right? Or one needs to brush their teeth before they go to bed so their teeth don't rot out of their head. Okay, that's passive voice. They. Okay, whenever the subject of the they or one is not specified, you're using the passive voice. Okay, so Rancho class, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll just polish up a lot of things that are unpolished in this chapter, like the preterite of the verbs. We kind of covered it last week. I did for sure with my my Elk Grove class. So we'll do readings, we'll polish up anything, make sure you guys know. Maybe we'll have a little pop quiz on maybe the passive voice tomorrow and Wednesday, maybe, just maybe. So pay attention, or if someone happens to talk to Rachel, or she might watch it, so either way. So just maybe on the passive voice. All right, that will be it for us for today, and I'll see you guys tomorrow on Wednesday. Adios.